A very good morning and welcome to another session for spoken English. Now the grammar you know, the basics you know. Now let us move to a place where we really spend a lot of time. We love doing that. Actually, we love to cook. Few people and all of us love to eat, right? So in that situation, if there is a conversation, then how should we speak? And then we need to know the correct vocabulary related to the cooking, related to the kitchen. Also, we need to know the correct rules to be followed on a dining table. Alright, but before that, it's time for the theme. So the theme here is this. Yeah, we are going to do something. It's a foodies day out. It's a jam. And I have few cashew nuts. Okay, everything is kept here. I can't do anything without it. And a few cashew nuts. And what's the end product? The end product is this. That's the smiley biscuits. So I created something to eat, but I did not use fire, right? So that means we are going to cook something without using the fire or fireless cooking. The activity today is based on that only. But before that, let's come to the vocabs, the words commonly used in the kitchen and on the dining table, right? So the first word is cuisine. Kindly pay attention to the pronunciation. And the first word is cuisine. I'll take this. So cuisine, meal, food, everything means same. Cuisine is specially related to a particular place or a region, right? For example, I love to eat the Chinese cuisine. My mom makes very good food of the Mexican cuisine. There's a place in my city who really serve excellent South Indian cuisine, right? So whenever we talk about a particular place's food, we talk about the cuisine. All right. So that's the cuisine for you. Next is salad. It's not salad, it's salad. That's the correct pronunciation. Of course, a preparation of the raw vegetables which we eat along with our food, right? So salad, there are many types of salads these days. So you can say that I don't like to eat salad. Why do we always speak the positive sentences? There are people who do not like to eat raw onion or raw tomatoes. But on the other hand, like a restaurant named El Chico in my city serves excellent salads. Their salad preparation is excellent. I love to eat Caesar's salad. I love to eat Mexican salad. So salad should be a part of our meal because they provide us with roughage, vitamins and minerals. So these are few sentences. I gave you few examples. Next is dish. Dish, we call it to a utensil also. And dish, when we prepare something exclusive, some novelty, we say, oh, I have prepared some nice dishes today. Or my mom is preparing a lovely dish for the dinner, right? So that goes the dish. Serve. You know, you go to a restaurant and you're sitting for your meals and the waiter asks you, may I serve the meal? You can say, then you said that, no, I'll serve myself, thank you, right? So that's the serve. or could you please serve this meal to the guests? You know, we can use sentences like that. Now this whole set is there which we use, especially in our Indian cooking. Flour, that's the sukha atta, the dry flour, that's the flour. Then when we put some water into it and make something like, you know, you must have played with the clay dough also. So that's the dough, right? And that dough then we convert it into small pieces, जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं लोई, है ना? तो आटे की लोई. What is the word for that? The word is dough balls. You know, for making puris, you will make small dough balls. For making chapatis or parathas, you will make a bigger dough ball. That's the dough ball. Now, what do you call for making the chapati? You know, what do you call it? What do you call the process? The process is flatten the dough, right? Flatten the dough. How do you flatten it? And many of the students, they also must have felt it. How do you flatten it? With what? In Hindi it is known as belan. In English we use the word rolling pin. What do we call it? We call it rolling pin. Okay? That's the rolling pin for you. Then we have one word left, and that's the word knead. Knead. K is silent here. Atta san do. Okay? Knead the dough. So we call it kneading the dough. We don't say knead the flour. No. You mix the flour with water, we get a dough, and then you massage it, make it smooth. So we call it knead the dough, right? Then peel. I've made two parts here, 1 and 2. Peel we use as verb, peel we also use as a noun. How? Peel the vegetables, peel the apple, peel the orange, right? Peel the banana and then you give it to your younger brother, right? So chilna is peeling, okay? But we also like जो छिला हुआ छिलका है, we also call it peel. So do not throw the peel on the roadside. Throw it in the biodegradable waste bin or dustbin. Or you can say we can do the composting with the help of this peel, the kitchen peels. तो जो छिला हुआ छिलका है, that is also known as peel, and that process action word is also peel, right? Next is grind and blend. I have put them together. Grinding is when you make or crush the small pieces of something solid into the mixer grinder, है ना? That's the grinding. But when your mom or you are making a shake, say banana shake, you are making a cold coffee, you are mixing the liquids only. So that's the blending. We blend, है ना? We blend the colors. Colors are in liquid state, right? So we say we blend the colors before using them. Blend them properly, right? That's the blending for you. Then we have two words, saute and stir. Saute and stir. You know, in certain cuisines like in Chinese, in Mexican, in Italian, the vegetables are not overcooked. Indian cuisine we usually overcook because we have a concept that जब तक पूरी तरह से गल नहीं जाता तब तक पकती नहीं है सब्जी. On the other hand, certain vegetables which are used in the Chinese cuisine or Italian cuisine, they are just, you know, sauteed, means for a very short period of time in very little amount of oil, they are fried on a very high flame. So that's the saute. And stir is, when you are cooking something and you are said that you are going towards the kitchen, kindly stir the vegetable. It will take 20 minutes to cook. है ना? So that's stirring, मतलब चलाना, हिलाना सब्जियों को, that's stir. Then sieve and sift. Sieve के समय हम strain भी रख सकते हैं. We can keep strain along with that. Sieve and sift. When you make a tea, you pour it through a strainer so that the leaves are removed. You cannot drink tea along with the tea leaves, isn't it? So you use the sieve or you strain the liquid, right? So whenever we are filtering a liquid, we use the word strain or sieve. But when we do it with something solid like maida, the refined flour, flour is what? In a solid state only. They are very small particles, but they are in solid state. So whenever we are sieving something solid, we say sift. Sift. है ना? Sift the flour before putting them into a pancake. है ना? So before putting them into a batter. So that the sift. Then we have pour. When we put some liquid from one container into another glass or bowl or something, we use the word pour, right? Pour some orange juice in my glass. Could you please pour some orange juice in my glass? Could you please pour some chilled water, right, into my glass, things like that. So that's the word pour. Next we have is slice, cut, chop. I've kept them together. Slice, when you cut something in a similar size, thin slices, thin pieces, we call it slice. है ना? Pass me on 2 slices of cake. Pass me on 5 slices of apple. I'll have only 2 slices of orange. I don't like it much. है ना? So that's the slice. On the other hand, we cut or chop the vegetables or fruits. So that's the difference between slice and cut and chop. Batter. Batter in Hindi, ghol, right? So what is that? Batter when we make pancakes or chilla, like dosa is also a pancake only, very thin. Uttapam is also a pancake because we spread the liquid on the tawa and then it is cooked. So then in Hindi we call it chilla, right? English word is pancake, and we prepare a batter of it. We put some powder, like besan ka chilla hai, so we'll put some besan into it, then we'll put some liquid, then some salt, mirch, whatever spices we want to put into it. So that's the batter, right? Now next set of word, it's very important, I forgot, thaw. See, these days we keep frozen vegetables, frozen chicken, meat, fish, everything in the freezer of our refrigerators, right? Now what happens before your mom is going to make some say matar paneer, she will ask you to take out the matar from the refrigerator, from the freezer, and keep it in the kitchen. She'll let it stay there for say 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, so that the ice which is there around the peas, that melts away, right? And it comes down to the normal room temperature. Then it can be easily cooked. You just cannot take out a frozen piece of chicken and put it into the heated oil. You will get burned with the splashing of oil because of that water which was present in the form of ice, right? So it is brought down to the room temperature first, and then only it is used for cooking. Now a little science here. We keep something in the refrigerator, in the freezer, at very low temperature so that there is no bacterial growth and the food item kept there remains fresh. When we put it at the room temperature, say for half an hour, and then we used a small portion only and kept back again the rest of it into the freezer, what will happen? When for the shorter period of time you kept it outside, the bacteria, the microbes present in the room attacked on it. So it started decomposing. Again you kept it in the refrigerator, in the freezer. So again it is brought down to a very low temperature, but a little bit damage was already done. So please don't do it. Take out only that small amount of frozen vegetable or meat or chicken which you need to use for cooking. Keep immediately rest of it, you keep immediately into the back into the freezer, right? So that's thaw the food, right? Now there is a set of word: roast, barbecue, grill and marinate. Oh, we all are getting the taste of chicken tikka and paneer tikka because I've spoken about barbecue, huh? I've spoken about grill, right? There is very little difference, but before that we need to know what is marinate, right? So when we marinate, we make a mixture, batter. Say you take the base as curd, you put some masalas into it, and then you dip your veg or non-veg, whatever you are going to cook, into it. Leave it aside for some time so that the spices, they get into the food item, and then when it is cooked, the taste is very much there, right? Everyone feeling the taste of paneer tikka, chicken tikka, grill. What are you teaching, huh? So fine, you can have it today. Everything can be cooked these days. Roast is, you roast a papad on fire, direct flame. Okay. So when we do that by, direct flame and put it into the screws and we put it on direct on the flame, it is the grill, right? So grill is faster, but when we cook it on very slow heat and we rotate it, very little difference. But when it takes time, it's barbecue. No, the heat that we are providing is low, right? So it takes time to cook. You must have seen in the movies that in the forest and all, the Kabila walas, what they do, they hunt the tribal people. They hunt a huge animal, they de-skin it, and then they put it on two rods like this. They hang it in between. Down there some fire is lit, and then they rotate it, so slowly the meat cooks, right? That's the barbecue. I missed a word, and that is garnish. There are still many words, but I've taken the main ones. That's the word is garnish. Presentation. I mean, you look at the various TV shows and people work a lot on presentation. There is a different branch of cooking which teaches you only how to present a food, right? So that's the garnishing. For example, simple soup is made. It is also garnished with little coriander leaves, little slices of lemon on it, right? So we decorate the food, we garnish the food. When we add the spices and salt to it, we use the word seasoning. Do the seasoning, add spices of your choice. That's the seasoning of food. So we have cooked lot many things, barbecue and grill, everything is done. Now we're sitting on the dining table to eat, right? Now there are certain thumb rules to be followed. What are they? The most important is wash your hands. Always wash your hands before and after every meal Very important, right? Next is that you should not speak loudly. You should not speak much. You should not speak or laugh a lot while eating. Scientific reason, we have two pipes, food pipe and the windpipe. If food pipe, you're laughing loudly, you're talking too much, and by chance a piece of food went into the windpipe, you will get choked. The windpipe will be choked, you won't be able to breathe. Usually what happens, small kids, they do so mother or father, whosoever elder is there, they hit here so that that particle, food particle, comes out from the windpipe. So otherwise in extreme cases this could be fatal, so please don't do it, right? Do not make sound from the mouth while eating. The animals do that, we are not animals. So eat the food, chew it properly, very important. Do not hog it. People eat food, they take big bites and they hog it as if the food is going to run away. That's not so. So do not hog it, take small bites, chew it properly so that your stomach receives them at regular intervals. Otherwise, the indigestion will happen, because stomach, you will hog, you will dump everything. Poor stomach, how will it manage? So you need to take small bites, chew them properly. While chewing, keep your mouth closed so that nothing comes out of it, right? And no sound. Okay, very important. Then there are many rules, that you need not put your elbows on the table. Take body posture should be correct. Sit properly, sit straight, comfortably straight, not in attention, right? And all these things are there. Then take only that amount of food which you can eat. Take small supplements, right? Take small helpings. The word is helpings. आप कितना food अपने में ले रहे हो, तो take small meals, take small helpings, and if you need it, take it back again. You can have it, right? But do not take a huge amount of food. What happens, we go to the marriages, we go to the weddings, parties and all, and you see the way people make heap on in their plates. And when you go to put your plate into the bin, plate bins, and you see a lot of food which is left in the plates. See children, everyone rather, there are thousands of people in the world who do not get even one time of meal. Okay? And it's really sad situation. Farmers take a lot of pain to grow the crops also. And food is precious, right? And then we are not supposed to waste it. You take small helpings. You want, take some more. But do not leave food in your plate. That's bad. That's a very bad manner to do so, right? And tell others also. Nobody is stopping you to take some more. If you're going to a party, you can go to the table 10 times and refill your plate. Nobody is going to stop. But take only that amount which you can eat and empty your plate. Don't waste food. Very important. And that's important. That goes for everyone. Senior, junior, anybody. This is very important, right? So we have discussed most of the rules. Do not leave the table if others are still eating. At least one meal should be eaten together in the house. Make it a rule in your family. And lastly, the most important thing, cooking is an art. Cooking takes time. Cooking requires time. The mothers, the ladies at home, they are putting a lot of effort in cooking something. What's wrong if one day it is not so good? You are not cooking, so you have no right to say it's not good. Always say thank you for the lovely food, and always say, praise the person. Even if you don't like, that's not the last day you're going to eat. You can always have something of your choice once you go back or post lunch or dinner. But at that time, at least have the courtesy to say thank you, or the food was really nice, thanks a lot, whatever. But don't condemn, don't say the harsh words that it's not good, what have you done? People do it. Please don't do that. Don't do that, right? You may be an excellent cook, but you have not cooked that meal, so you have no right to say so, right? So these are certain mannerisms which we need to follow while we are on the dining table having meal together, right? And then today's activity, there could be two things. One is that you give a presentation on what are the basic rules of the dining table, or you can just describe a recipe like a very good morning everyone, I am so and so from so and so. These are just for practicing. And then today I'm going to do fireless cooking, and I'm going to make the smiley biscuits. In this, what am I going to do? I'm going to take these Britannia Marie biscuits. I'm going to spread some jam on it, right? And after spreading the jam, I'll take gems and cashew nuts, and with the help of that, I'll create their eyes and the mouth, smiling mouth. Now, what else we can use? We can use any kind of jam here. We can also use the chocolate sauce here, the strawberry sauce here, whatever is available at home, we can use it. And I love to eat this because I have a big sweet tooth. Yes, in day-to-day language, if you love sweets, and in a general conversation you're having with your friend, and you just want to say that you love to eat sweet things, so what will you say? I have a very big sweet tooth. That's a phrasal use. That is how we make our language flowery, more effective, you can say. And you can always say that I have a very big sweet tooth, means I love to eat sweet food, right? With this, I end today's lecture, today's session, and thank you very much for being so patient. Do practice English, eat good food, eat balanced food, never disrespect anyone on the dining table, and keep healthy, keep safe. Thank you.